Hi, everyone, and welcome to this Facebook Live here on Fridays. I'm Kevin Mason. I'm one of the TuckerAllen attorneys, and I'm hosting it today. And we're joined by Jim Gau.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
Yes, thank you so much, Jim. You're an attorney in the St. Louis and Illinois area. So just before we get kicked off here, today what we're doing is just kind of for educational purposes only. Our goal is just kind of to talk a little bit about a common topic here for estate planning and elder law issues. So we're just kind of going to be going over some things that people have questions about sometimes. So today we're going to be talking about some of the differences in Medicare and Medicaid. So I'm kind of going to turn it back over to Jim now and let him explain kind of what Medicare is.
Yeah, so this is a huge question just because the geniuses with the federal government decided to name these things so closely. So yeah, it's a very common question and confusion. Even attorneys like us that deal with Medicare and Medicaid all the time, we slip and say Medicare or Medicaid when we're trying to make a distinction between the two. Mm-hmm. But basically what the difference is, and so when you think of nursing home care, that's Medicaid. When you think of Medicare, that's more, it's really federal health insurance is what it comes down to. And so, yeah, Medicare is an insurance program and it's paid, you pay into Medicare through your payroll deductions and stuff like that, basically taxes. Mm-hmm. And then all that money's held in a trust. It's similar kind of to Social Security when you think about it. And all that money's held in trust. And then that money is used to cover the people that are eligible for Medicare.
The people that are eligible, how do you know if somebody's, or how do you become eligible, I guess, for Medicare? Yeah,
so the main people that are covered by Medicare are people over the age of 65. Mm-hmm. And so retirees, once they get, out of the workforce and onto Social Security and into retirement and need health insurance, that's kind of when Medicare covers them and kicks in. And again, you've paid into it your entire career. So when you're in retirement, you can have health insurance. So people 65 or older, under 65 with disabilities, or people of any age that are on dialysis that have kidney failure, essentially.
Okay. So like the disabilities that we're talking about, that's kind of like blindness, I know, is that would be considered one. So
yeah, like mental incapacity, things like that. Basically, if you can't work, if you collect Social Security disability kind of thing, you're probably eligible for Medicare.
Okay. And so I know that there's 4 different parts to Medicare. Can you kind of explain maybe what exactly does part mean, and maybe just briefly let me know what each part is? Yeah, so Medicare has kind of evolved
to kind of match what you would normally see on a private health insurance program. And so, yeah, it's not enough for the government to make it confusingly named, but they also want to make it split into 4 different kinds of programs. So Part A and B are kind of original Medicare. And so Part A is for hospital and inpatient care. So if you have to go to the hospital, that's Part A that covers that. Part B is outpatient care, doctor's visits, things like that. And then you can optionally get from even private insurance companies, Part C, which is a combo of Part A and B, that also includes sometimes prescription drug coverage. And then there's Part D, which is just prescription drug coverage. So to me, it sounds like Part C is usually the best way to go. But again, it allows people to pick and choose what coverages they want and what coverages they need. Okay, gotcha. So just kind of similar to an insurance plan. Yeah. You can kind of choose which one's the best case for your scenario. And private insurance companies, you can always get, like, you've heard of Medicare supplements and things like that. So you can always add on to, this is kind of the basic coverage, and you can always add on to it. Okay, so we've kind of gone over Medicare, just very high level. Obviously, there's so many nooks and crannies to something like this. So, but how about Medicaid? Can you go over maybe just another high level overview of it? Yeah, so Medicaid is assistance. It's medical assistance. So Medicare, insurance, Medicaid is assistance. So emergency kind of assistance. Okay. And so it serves low-income people of any age. So if you're a low-income individual, Medicaid can help cover medical costs and pay for things. And so that's what people think of when they see younger people on Medicaid. But then obviously there is Medicaid for older people. So when you think of nursing home care, that is where you can apply for Medicaid. And Medicaid's a federal state hybrid program. So it's established by the federal government and partially funded by the federal government, but it's managed by each individual state. And so that is why Medicaid qualifications are different from state to state. So even Missouri, Illinois, Missouri, Kansas, it's different from state to state, but it has to meet that minimum federal kind of rules.
Okay.
But Medicaid's typically covering children, pregnant women, older adults or people with disabilities, and then eligible low income, like I said, adults. And so, yeah, that's the Medicaid program. Again, that's more of a emergency assistance kind of program versus Medicare, which is a federal health insurance program.
Okay. So whenever, someone like you and I, estate planning attorney, we're going to be generally kind of dealing more in that Medicaid realm.
Typically, yeah. Medicare is not really something we can help you get qualified for.
Right.
You're either old enough or you're disabled. So, yeah, Medicaid is kind of the planning opportunity to get qualified for Medicaid is working with those state, qualification guidelines. And then working to plan, to protect your assets so you don't have to spend down to those guidelines.
And just correct me if I'm wrong here, but really what we're doing with Medicaid is we're looking at people and saying, okay, we have, in Missouri, there's a limit to, the assets that you can have and be eligible for Medicaid. So kind of that's where we start thinking about that planning process of, okay, how do we kind of get this asset? How do we get below the asset limit? Is that kind of
right? So a lot of people think when they're talking about Medicaid, for example, Missouri, you've got to have less than $5,000 basically to qualify as an individual. And so people say, well, we don't want to spend. We've been saving our whole lives. We don't want to spend down to $5,000 just so we don't have to pay for the nursing home and spend it all. And so most people think off the top of their heads, well, I'll just give all my money away to my kids. Which is a bad idea.
Yes.
For a multitude of reasons. But and so what we do is we kind of step in and create a trust that you can gift your assets to and still maintain a little bit of control over those assets, not just completely give them away. And that way you can qualify for Medicaid while still kind of maintaining a little bit of control and access to your assets.
Sure. Yeah. And, just speaking on kind of what you were saying, where people, their idea is like, oh, let me gift all my assets to my children. The other one that I think I run into kind of often is the idea of like quit claiming your home to your kids, which is it's the exact same as what you were saying. It's just making a gift of your home. And that can cause some issues kind of within that. But it can cause a lot. It can't cause some. It can cause a lot of issues. So that's,
Well, I mean, and people don't think, they just think, oh, I'll just quit claim my house away, and it's that simple. It's just recorded. It's gone. It's out of my name. It's not my asset anymore. I qualify. But there's a look back period. There's gift tax implications. So you've got to file a gift tax return in the year of that gift. The kids can sell it out from under you.
Right. There can be mortgage, that can cause issues with your mortgage. That's kind of the one that a lot of times people seem to not really realize. Like whenever you quit claim that house, that is effectively a sale. And a lot of mortgages have a clause on it that say they're due whenever a sale occurs.
Absolutely.
So, I just wanted to kind of make that comment.
Nothing like a nice letter that says we're accelerating your mortgage and you owe us hundreds of thousands of dollars yesterday.
Exactly. So that's kind of one that I'm always like, oh no, please don't do that. So okay, one last question here before we get off. So can they be eligible for both Medicaid and Medicare? How do they interwork with each other, I guess?
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, they're different programs. They're not even really closely related, just because they deal with health. That's the only, and the name is really the only reason they're confused so much. But again, Medicare, if you're over age 65, for example, I mean, this is the most common scenario. You're over age 65, you're on Medicare, that's your health insurance program. Maybe you have a supplement, but then you get older and older and older and your health declines, and you've got to go into a nursing home. So you're already qualified for Medicare. And then at that point, once you're in the nursing home and you spend your money down or plan with an attorney, then you can qualify for Medicaid. So yeah, you can absolutely be, dual eligible and collect both benefits because they are separate programs.
Okay, awesome. Well, Jim, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day kind of to come on here and explain a little bit of this to us. It sounds like maybe a bit of there's a lot of nooks and crannies in there. My suggestion
Yeah.
as also an attorney here is, if you've got questions, go ahead and make sure that you call somebody. You can set up a consultation with Jim or I, or just speak to an attorney somewhere about this if you got questions, because it's not something you really want to be dealing, especially that Medicaid spend down is something you should probably meet with and talk to somebody before you get too far down that path. So, we're always available to have a consultation scheduled with us. And again, thank you so much, Jim, for taking time out of your day to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.